so bright up here I can't see any of you. This is perfect. I needed that. I regret to inform you that I'm going to have to take over for Kage for just a little bit. His afternoon wine was a little late, and his morning wine was a little late. The bottle I sent him ran a little late. Tora sent him a bottle of wine, it ran a little late, and there's a lot of bottles of empty wine in this room, but no Kage. So once we find him, he's going to be here post-haste. And if not him, there'll be 4 bottles of wine on the stage, and we're pretty sure that you guys are going to be okay with that. No one's going to really notice. So, until then, unfortunately, I am your idiot holding the microphone. This is your fault. Oh, God. I want to thank a few of you for last night for going to the improv panel, or is now called the Roast of Alkali. Oh, you're good friends.
We love you, Alkali!
And I love all of you, which is what makes it so hard to say this, you jackasses. One of you in particular, because you see, when we plan for the improv show, we do a little bit of prep work. No matter how improvised it is, you have to be ready to go up on stage. I have contingencies for if one of you pisses me off. I have contingencies if one of you pisses the con staff off. That involves a knife, gun, small firearm. Nothing fancy. But I didn't have a contingency if my co-host decided to allow one more topic. If you know what I mean, jackass. You see, for those of you who weren't there, we played a wonderful game. This game is called World's Worst, or Scenes from a Hat, and the final topic that went in is, what is Alkali thinking now? And that was just me getting angry for about 45 minutes. So, you have to understand my co-host is a very good friend of mine. I like to stay, hang out with my friends. Hopefully you all do too. If not, seriously, try it. Seriously. Get out of your basement. But, I digress. You see, he's hung out with me enough that I know things. I know secrets. I, in fact, know about the time that we all went on a little trip. Because you see, when I hang out with my friends, I have a lot of friends that are not interested in coming to fur cons. Because then they'd have to see me wearing a top hat, and they already laugh enough at me as it is. And when I took him to one of these, my friend John came. Now John is a non-fur, a large non-fur. A large, Irish, drunken, drinking, currently, he just texted me, non-fur. And John is angry. The only way to describe John is to say that he is angry because he is not holding a beer currently. He was holding a beer currently, and that's why he's angry. There's no better way to describe it. Because one night, Swan pissed John off. See, my co-host had decided that our drinking contest that night should be a grand old affair. He poured himself what only could be described as paint thinner with paint in it. For flavor. Now John, knowing that he's an angry person, now knowing that he is hanging out with a larger group of friends, he's hanging out with my friends, his friends, he doesn't want to get drunk. That would be a bad idea. He had himself a nice beer, and of course Swan said to this, "Hey pussy, a beer?" For those of you who don't drink, there's a few different style of glasses. There's shot glasses, rock tumblers, you can get like a nice martini gin, martini glasses, larger glasses. And there's buckets. Now we had 2 rooms where we were staying with 2 ice buckets. We had Everclear at one point. And then the drinking contest commenced. Now when I say Irish, I mean Irish. There was a bucket filled with Everclear, then there wasn't a bucket filled with Everclear. And he stared down my friend, who, not wanting to be shown up, tried to get rid of his bucket of Everclear. Oh, the pain. Because now we have someone who knows they have been beaten, and a large man who knows that they have won. Now we have a large, angry, Irish, cocky person hanging out with us who has decided at this point that I am not showing him the proper respect. And Swan, being the friend he is, ventriloquismed. Now they were drunk enough that his ventriloquism was this.
Hey, John! I can kick your ass!
And then pointed at me. It worked. And I'm telling this story so Swan remembers it because he felt terrible the next morning. I am not a small man by any regards, at all. I love that took you a second. There's that clock working. Yeah, giant. And John, a large, cocky, drunken Irishman, physically picked me up into the air and threw me down a hallway into a large glass mural painting, where I slammed into the ground, still laughing. And this painting, who is now a close personal friend of mine, we've bonded, decided that it liked me so much that it fell off the wall on top of my now shattered corpse. Well, there's a problem right here because at this point, the last of our friends arrived. We're not going to lock the door, so they walk in to a painting on top of me in a hallway, Swan laughing his ass off, and John looking at me with what could only be described as slight concern, but a lot of amusement. And they asked, who's going to pay for this? To which my mate, the person who has claimed that he loves me, drunkenly stumbled into the hallway and yelled, "It's okay! I'm an artist!" My friends are helpful. For all of you out there, someone's going to talk about the story later. Ask them. I'm not fucking lying. Because my friends hate me. It's understandable. I'm not a good person. I do stupid things, mainly to myself. Uncle Kage has a rule. 6 hours of sleep a night, 2 full meals, 1 shower. 1 shower is never a problem. Everything else I'm a little sketchy on. Sleep? Who needs... I need sleep. So I found it. That counts as 1 hour as far as I'm concerned. Do not do this. It's a bad idea. There's 2 sections of audience here. I see 3.5. It would be 4, but I had an hour of sleep an hour ago, so we're good. And one time, after doing something stupid for many hours, I decided to drive home. Now, I had my large Irish friend with me in the car. I decided it's okay to drive. I'm fine. What could possibly go wrong? A shooting star. Nope. I get into my car. What could possibly go wrong? And I start to drive down Route 88. The sun hasn't come up yet. I'm going fairly fast and there's a school bus ahead of me at 3 in the morning. I don't want a school bus ahead of me at 3 in the morning. I want to go home. There are children on that bus. That's annoying. So I speed up. And the school bus speeds up. Now that's dangerous. So you know what? I want that call number. How's my driving? They're speeding up when I'm trying to pass them going, 90. Well, if the bus can do 90, I can go faster. So now we've reached 110. The bus is matching my speed. I have not caught up with it yet. Have you ever had a moment of realization in your life? When it just clicks? That happened. I realized it. I, as slowly and carefully as I could, pulled my car over into the shoulder, woke up my friend and told him to drive. 10 minutes later, he thought to ask me, "Dan, why did you wake me up? I was having a wonderful dream where you weren't alive." True quote. And I had to explain to him, "Do you see the road ahead of you?" Yes. Do you see the cars ahead of you? No. Do you see the yellow lines in the middle of the road? That's a school bus. And it's matching our pace. He then spun his head around 360 degrees and I fell asleep. I do these things because, as a lot of you know, I run a LARP, a live-action role-playing game. I am an idiot savant. Because I go out there and I do what we basically do at a Furry Con once every 2 weeks. I go out, beat the living shit out of myself, and then I go to work on Monday pissed off that I haven't slept yet. Well, we can sleep there. We should sleep there. We actually have a small room that we sleep in. 2 beds, they're bunk beds. They're actually hand-built bunk beds. We had to build everything on the site. Unfortunately, when you hand-build things, we're not engineers. We're not carpenters. We're not smart. So, I doubt you can see the concussion mark from when I decided that I would let sleep take me one night. Have you guys ever been to that part of sleep where you're right there? You can feel sleep trying to grab you, and then Godzilla attacks? It wasn't really Godzilla, it was a June bug. I didn't know I was asleep. It could have been Godzilla, so a June bug landed on my arm. And of course, what do you do when Godzilla attacks? You sit up. Now, I love this story because of this line. When I slid up and slammed my head at full force on the bunk above me, John, who was sleeping above me, woke up and slammed his head full force on the bunk above him. Favorite part of the story, but now I have to tell you the shitty part. Now, I told you there are 2 bunks next to each other. Well, now I have to combat Godzilla. We're at a LARP, I have a sword right next to me. I don't know why. In case Godzilla attacks. So, I turned to get out of bed. Well, you need supports on bunk beds, so there's a board about this big that finished the concussion for me as I slammed my head full force into it. And now John knows what's going on, and he is screaming and laughing. Not really because he knows I have a concussion, but because of what happened next. You see, at this point, I am dazed, I am confused, not on drugs, but I needed to get out of the bunk bed. Now I'm 6'8". My center of gravity is nowhere. It doesn't exist on me. And as I went to get out of the bed, I tumbled face first into the other bed. Where my buddy, Tim, who unfortunately decided that clothes were not a necessity that night, he's straight. The only way I can describe this is to yell what John yelled. Yes, Stan, Tim's ass is probably the safest place in this room. Burrow, Dad, burrow!
Oh, God.
I love my hero friends. They are my other family besides Furry and my family. They are really something. They are comedic geniuses. To do what we do, you need to basically turn off any kind of censor that says, no, you shouldn't say that, and no, you shouldn't do that. They're furries. They just don't admit it. And we do Gen Con. Now, for those of you who haven't been to Gen Con, it is a fur con, just weirder. And at this absolutely wonderful event, we always show up one day early just to get some sleep. Now, by sleep, I don't mean sleep. So this started with me arriving late. One of my friends in the room, I just saw her. I don't think she saw me. I started sneaking up behind her. Now, let me describe Monica to you. She's 5 foot. She's a lesbian. And she screamed at the top of her lungs, "You startled the witch!" and tackled me. A 5-foot, skinny, little, adorable Monica knocked me on my ass and aggravated the many concussions. So the rest of the night is a blur until it's time to go to sleep, because this is where Jen comes in. Jen is my makeup girl. She does all of the crazy makeup that you can see there. She does it professionally. She's amazing, but she's crazy. I'm weird. She's crazy. You see, she has an aversion to living. Not her, you. And she decided that we needed rules. Now, I'm not a big fan of rules, but I accepted this, but she only had one. This wasn't a bad rule. This wasn't a furry con. I was here with my friends. And right before we went to bed, she goes, don't forget, guys, no sex. I'm rooming with a lesbian, my straight friend, my insane makeup artist. This isn't happening. Let's go to bed. That didn't work out well. Because when I laid down, we slept friends to a bed. There's two beds, just like we have this one. And the person laying next to me, falling asleep first, made this noise. I'm not. And for the first time in my life, I had a woman straddling my near naked body because she jumped from her bed onto mine in perfect formation to lay on top of me and start beating the shit out of me with both arms while yelling, "Ah! Terry the no-sex pterodactyl says no sex!" Sleep is over. We just had a pot of coffee with Monster in it. So now we gotta go further with this. Terry the No-Sex Pterodactyl, let's make a sitcom. Okay, this sounds great. Who would Terry the No-Sex Pterodactyl's friend be? Harvey the Horny Hedgehog, of course! So Harvey the Horny Hedgehog and Terry the No-Sex Pterodactyl became close friends. But, you know, Terry doesn't really go along with Harvey's life. So that's when Polly the punctual parrot comes in. Oh, Polly, the crazy things you do with the hedgehog whose name I've already forgotten, Harvey, that works. But unfortunately, even though Terry the No-Sex Pterodactyl had lectured Harvey the Horny Hedgehog and Polly the punctual parrot, Polly the punctual parrot's period was a little late. Oh, it was so sad, but that's okay. They had a visit from Craig the crotch crab and everything was okay for a short time. So, going on from there, and the last thing I remember as I fell asleep was the end of the series. As a soft voice, falling asleep in the bed next to me, simply called on and said, "Ah! Abe the abortion albatross to save the day." I love my friends and I love being up on stage. However, I would like to give you over to a real comedian, someone who's been doing this for a very long time, someone I have watched do this and have enjoyed thoroughly. Guys, I would like to introduce you to Kage, the crazy cockroach.
That's Alkali, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think?
I take credit for that. I discovered him. And we... Okay.
Kage!
Yes?
I don't think that's enough.
No, the problem is... Well, I told Gurr I want to have the same wine that I had this afternoon on stage. I didn't mean the same bottle. I meant a new one that still had wine in it. So, oh, that might work. Okay, this is gonna work too. It's lovely. Thank you very much. We all know her. This is the lady who's been keeping us boozed up all weekend. Now, I don't like to look a gift horse in the mouth, but empty, jug, and Chardonnay. Don't like Chardonnay. But I did anticipate just such a problem. I have a doctorate in chemistry. 1991, Dartmouth. Can't do much with it. Can't get you a good job. But chemistry can be a very, very useful thing. I like White Zinfandel. That is my favorite sipping wine. And I brought some of this along just on the off chance that somebody thought to bring me. Whoops, we're still a little, thought that was open. There we go. Let's see, White Zinfandel, what can we do here? I'm getting what you do?
Oh, no, I ain't doing that. Check the seal.
Somebody bring me a proper thing of grenadine back there. What do you got? You got another one? Oh, that'll work. Or you can show me how to open this damn thing. Oh yeah, you just pour it, don't you? Yeah, it works for you, doesn't it? Son of a bitch. This is kind of cute. White Zinfandel is a lovely wine. The Zinfandel grape is very, very sweet, but it imparts that very, very gentle pink color. That's a little more Sutter home. Let's go for Beringer. There we are. If you ever find yourself in a location and you want some White Zinfandel and all they have is disgusting, creepy Chardonnay, just ask for a little bit of grenadine in a container that you can open. This will do just fine.